what we're going to be doing here is going to the View tab up top. Come on. And when you click on the View tab, they want us to read over these 5 different options that we have for views. First one is read mode. This is a newer mode in Word. So what it does is it almost acts like a book or magazine, where it shows you only what can fit on the page, and then I hit this arrow, and then it shows me the next whatever's viewable on one page, and then I can continue going on to view like that. Okay, so then I can go back, change my view. I've got print layout, which is really by default, and that is what it's going to look like as you print. So it's really called like WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. So this is how it's going to print. You can see your page breaks right here. Then you've got web layout. So if you were to turn this into a website, this is what it's going to look like. And you notice there's no page breaks. It's just one big fluid document. You can take your outline view. And then we've also got draft view. Draft view is similar to how, if you ever used an old version of Word, it would have been like Word 97 maybe did it. But they would actually show where the pages were going to break, and then you had all this extra space over on the right hand side. And then you'd have to go to a separate print view if you wanted to do that. So this is just another option. We're only going to work in print layout though. So this is talking about working with the ribbon, how to get to that view part, going through outline, going through all your different views, kind of flew through it. All right, so that now the next thing I'm going to show you, again, under the views section of the menu, and this is kind of important. Mine are on by default. I don't know if yours are, but you notice I've got my rulers on. Under view, I can turn off and turn on my rulers. Well, the rulers are going to be really important if I'm ever doing any kind of indenting. If I'm going to do a regular indent, especially going to be doing a hanging indent, because I'm going to be using these markers on the ruler right here. Or if I'm going to be setting what's called a tab stop. So when I press tab, it goes to a particular location in the document. You need the ruler to do that. So if you can't find it, it's under view. You can turn on your grid lines if you ever need to do that for some reason. Maybe you're trying to line stuff up. And here they're showing you with the grid lines on, etc. Zoom feature, I showed you that yesterday. We're going to skip it. All right, different types of Windows views. Over here, you've got new window, arrange all, and split. This would be if I've got different documents open here, and then I could actually have, maybe I have my notes in one document, and then I'm typing in another document. I can have 2 different sections going on at the same time here. So you notice as I scroll through this particular document, I can see the top header right here. Well, then I can scroll through this document and view the other parts of it. So if I want to, for some reason, view 2 parts of the document at the same time, I can split it. Again, if I've got more than one document open, and I can arrange my windows, create a new window, and so on. Or I can just toggle between them. And right now it shows I've only got one window open. Just to run through a couple of things. This top right here, Starbright Satellite Proposal Dash Word. Anybody know what that's called? Title bar. Yep. And then these again are called what? The ribbons below it, and selecting these takes me to that ribbon, but what are those called? Tabs. These are your tabs. So if I say click on your references tab, that's what I'm referring to. And then you've got your references ribbon that appears here. Over on the right hand side, I've got what? got a specific name.
What's that?
Scroll bar. What kind of scroll bar?
Oh my gosh, Kenzie.
Vertical scroll bar. Yep, nothing complicated there. When I zoom in, you'll notice now I've got another scroll bar. This would be the horizontal scroll bar. Yep. All right. We've changed window views. We're good on all that. Wonderful. Navigating and searching through a document. We just went through the scroll section. I'm using the mouse to scroll through. I know some of this is super basic. Keystrokes, though. I showed you selecting yesterday. Here's a couple of key shortcuts you should know. Home and end will take you to the end or beginning of a line. That can be kind of handy sometimes if you're just trying to jump lines. Like maybe you want to press end and then press enter for some reason. Okay? Control end is going to take you to the end of the document. So you don't have to scroll until you get to the end of the document. Inversely, you can do control home and now you're back at the top. Okay, a couple of cool shortcuts. Page down is actually a button I use frequently, and that's how I'm actually scrolling through our ebook. When I press page down, it's going to go down as much as I can pretty much see. So if you notice here, I've got proposal description, I've got Starbright Satellite Radio is the nation's leading, and then I press page down, and it takes me to that. It puts that now at the top of the page. And then I can continue doing that. So it's always jumping viewable sections. Searching within the document. Now, you can use the magnifying glass tool to search, but one of my favorite shortcuts, because this works all over the place, whether you're on the web or anything, is Control F, which is the shortcut for find. So that's probably one you want to memorize. And now notice it takes you over to the navigation on the left-hand side and says, well, what do you want to search for? I want to search for the word radio. You'll notice now it's going to go through and highlight the word radio throughout the entire document. And in this little section over on the left-hand side, it's saying, hey, there's 4 results. Good to know. It also shows me very briefly what those results are. And if you notice, as I hover over them, it tells me what page they're on. That can be great if you're trying to find a particular item in a large document. Now, if I drop down this little options button in my search, you notice I've got more search options, advanced find, replace, and even go to. So I can do an advanced find here, and I can set up the reading highlights and so forth. But my favorite feature is the replace feature, which is on this same find and replace tab. Let's say you did a very long document and you realize after you're done you spelled a person's name wrong, but you know you put that person's name in the document at least 15 times, but you got a 100-page document. You don't want to read through your entire document trying to find that person's name and to fix it. So I'm going to use the word example radio here. Don't do this. I'm going to search for the word radio. I'm just going to simply say a new word as an example. And I can hit replace all. We've done 4 replacements. Close this. Notice Starbright Satellite, a new word. And then down here, Starbright Satellite Radio, a new word. So it has gone through and changed the word radio for me in each instance. I can now do a Control Z. Control Z is undo. And it has gone through and changed it back. Control Z is a lifesaver. It's basically the shortcut for hitting this button up here, which is the undo feature. Now, let's say you made a bunch of changes to something. You notice how there's a drop down here? You can go through and actually choose and see a list of how far you can go back. Same thing with redo. I can see how I can, well, not in this case, I can't. There's only one, but I could redo that option if I needed to. So a couple of important shortcuts. A wild card. knowing what a wildcard is important, and this is actually used a lot in computers, those of you that are working with computer files all the time. So you know you spelled somebody's name wrong, but now you realize you only know how to spell it correctly. So you need to find the word somehow and how you've been spelling it. So let's say I want to find the word Montgomery. And in this case, I'm not sure how I spelled it. Did I spell it M-O-T-G-E-M-E-R-Y? I don't know. But I can do M-O-N-T star or asterisk and search, and that's going to be my wild card. Or not. I don't know why that's not working. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know I'm teaching you wrong. That's typically how that would work. Yeah, even in this here, it's explaining that's how that would work. I'm not sure why. The other thing they're saying here is you could use a wildcard for a question mark if you are not sure what the middle letter is. The question mark is only going to replace a certain character. The asterisk is going to find anything either before or after it, however you set it up. So if I'm going to do M-O-N-T asterisk, it's going to find everything that starts with M-O-N-T. Or if I put the asterisk first and then I put N-T, it's going to find every word that ends in N-T. That's the idea behind it. We did replace text. All right, the go-to command, I don't know that this is going to be a great document to explain how that works. But what I can do is I could jump to a specific page. I've got 4 pages here, so I can just simply hit go to page 4, and it does that. I can go to a specific section, line. If I set up a bookmark, comment, or footnote, endnote, I can jump to graphics. I don't have any in here. Maybe they used headings, I don't know. Yeah, so they did use a heading here, so jump to the second heading, Atlanta, Georgia. Probably not as useful of a feature unless you're in a massive document. All right, so what they want us to do is they want us to go through and start editing text, and this is going to be kind of basic, so I'm just going to touch on some of this. First thing we're going to do, they want us to drag across Starbright Satellite Radio, and then we are going to change that to simply SBR. Now, one thing I do want to show you, when we do this, I don't need to press delete or backspace. I can simply type. Whenever something is selected, that means you're basically queuing it for deletion for whatever you're going to type on top of it. It's not the overtype, which if I were to press insert on the keyboard, it doesn't do that here. Insert used to be the key for it. It'll actually write over the words. That's not the case. You don't want to do overtype. Shortcut for copy is what?
Control-C.
Shortcut for cut? Control-X. And shortcut for paste.
I use that.
All right, you guys know how to do that. Did you know, though, you have a clipboard? If you highlight this, you can always access your clipboard. So you can, if you are always copying the same thing, you can just access your clipboard and then just tell it to paste that clipboard. Kind of a cool feature. We'll leave it at that today. The bell's going to ring in a couple seconds.